Hey guys, and welcome to Girls Frontline 2. So let's have an updated priorities guide for the banners that we are projecting to come in, both for global and for CN. So this file is actually a compilation of all the banners that dropped in global since launch. You may take a look at this file. But before that, let me just discuss all the things that needed to be needed to be shed light on so that you could be informed on what is happening even for the reruns in global and who to save or who to ready, because right now almost all of the missing pieces for each element is actually out. Okay, nearly out basically. So let's start with a quick recap on the recent ones. We do have Springfield with Michty as the rerun. We do have Perry, and we do have Faye as our free character. So no question about this. The next one that was announced was going to be Chiwa, and Vector is going to be having her rerun. So this is gonna be a dilemma for those who are planning to get Vector and also going to be getting Chua. So some are already saying that they'll be going for Vector. Of course, Vector is actually going to be better for your burn team, especially if you're going after the rerun, because we don't know when her next rerun will be. So now is the best time to get Vector. This is the last chance, probably. Chua would probably be an option for you to pull if you have Vector. Like me, I have Vector ready. Chua would be an option. But again, for those who don't have both, this will be a big dilemma. And some of the players in global are already looking towards the other teams, since they've seen how good right now the Hydro team is. Fire teams are kinda in a holding pattern wherein they'll be waiting for the other teams to arrive. And again, the excitement is in the other elements based on what I've seen in the comments. But fire teams will have their niche and will still be very, very good and easy to assemble. So fire teams are definitely going to be staying, but again, the interest right now is in the incoming teams for global. Also, just want to note possible banners for the second half of 2025. The first rerun is going to be Yuhi. The second rerun is going to be what do you call this? Jiawei and Springfield. If you're planning to skip, or if you're skip Springfield, if you plan to get her in the rerun, or if you're planning to V6 Springfield on the rerun, she will be out on September 25th. That is roughly what? July, August, September. Roughly 2 months, 3 months tops for her to be launched. So you should prepare for that. If you will be needing, currency, you might as well save your Doritos for Springfield if you're just prioritizing Hydro, because we don't know what's releasing for the limited banner for these 2 months, including this one. So 3 months. So I'm not sure really what we're going to be getting for the limited banner. Possible banners are going to be Nikita, Lena, Belka, Andoris, Zhang Yu will be reworked. I'm not sure if she's appearing in this this range of dates, but she's electric, so I'll just put her there. Her kit will be reworked as announced in the previous stream for the update. And of course, we have Leva here, hopefully as our as our 1-year anniversary. So the game launched in December 3. So in November 27, it's about fitting that she is going to be out as our 1-year character. So watch out for that as well. Go back to Yuhi here. So Yuhi, by the time Yuhi's rerun will be dropping on August 14, we might already know what AK-15's kit is all about. So AK-15's kit is mostly going to be physical. So probably your pulls for Yuhi on a rerun will depend on how good AK-15 is going to be by this time. So there are a lot of things to consider here. Again, Fire Team will be concluding, its pulling with Chua and Vector. Of course, Chua will have a rerun in the future. But Fire is about to be complete. For Hydro, it's going to be Springfield right now in Tololo. Next up is going to be Nikita within this range. I don't know when. I'm not. It really depends on when they'll be releasing her. But she's part of the tease that the developers were able to announce. So Hydro and Electric Dolls. If it's Hydro, it's going to be okay because again, it's one release. But if it's going to be Electric, it's going to be a lot. So you'll have to pick your poison here eventually if you want to complete an Electric team. I think the best here to prioritize is going to be Leva, Lena, basically Andoris. 3. So Belka, the 4th priority. If you want to complete, again, the banners, Lena, Leva, Andoris. Belka's the 4th one. So that is it for Electric. So again, Freeze after all of these, we'll have to wait for Row possible gonna be next year, 2026, and that's a long time to wait. Plus we do have Alva. So again, Freeze will have its fill next year, probably gonna be lounging out this year. Electric will probably have more outs than Freeze, so watch out for that. Physical team, again, Yuhi AK-15 is going to be good. Then, more or less, you'll have to get Yuhi again for the rerun, and you'll have to save for Lainey. So, physical team between Yuhi rerun and Lainey is gonna be dependent on AK-15's release and her kit. Okay, so there are a lot of things to consider because, again, as I've said, almost all of the main components of the teams are actually going to be out already. That is why you're going to be having a hard time and scratching your head on who to save for, who to get first. And that's not the end. So we have Florence, obviously, for Hydro. So aside from Nikita, you have Florence again. Then you have Lend to help your corrosion team with Maki, Perry, not Maki, Michti, Perry, Klukai, and Lind. So that team is already solid as it is. Probably lacks one more for corrosion as a 5th member. And finally, we do have Alva. The free unit here is Balthilde. So Balthilde is a physical team, a physical character. I'm not sure. Her kit is kind of confusing. It's more of a defensive specialist, not really on ignore defense as an offensive debuff, but she's a kind of a defensive specialist. So we have Alva for your what do you call this? We have Alva for your freeze. Sorry, I forgot what element she is. For your freeze, and the remaining one is AK-15. So they are stacked here on the right side as possible banners. Again, it's gonna be this list is going to be longer and getting longer and longer. But again, concentrate on what is happening in the last half of the year. At some point, the first half dolls will just release itself and will just be there. But right now, priorities will be mainly on Hydro, mainly on Electric especially, but also it's gonna be important to decide on physical teams now because the rerun of Yuhi, I'm not sure when it's gonna be after the next one, this rerun. So this is the first rerun. The second rerun, I don't know. So again, AK-15 will be the savior for the physical team, which I'm hoping she would be. But so far, these are your future watches for pulls, and especially if you're selecting the best, the best elements. These are what you're gonna be watching for. So, well, Perry is kind of a skip for the rerun, and Zhao Wei is kind of a skip as well. So the most valuable reruns are going to be Yuhi, Springfield, probably Chiwa. If you're getting Vector now in the rerun, probably get Chiwa in her rerun. So that is it, guys. Again, it is going to be tough deciding which teams you're going to be focusing in, because almost all of the teams are going to be equal already. It's not in strength, but are going to be equal in terms of the number of dolls that they should have, and number of dolls that are competitive enough to, for you to be able to use. Because right now, again, this is a good time, to plan your teams and to plan your priorities for the future. Thank you, guys. Again, comment down in the comment section what do you think of your priorities, and share what teams are you building right now and what teams are you wanting to build in the future. Stay safe, take care. This is the Warden, and I'm out of here.